let's add some EQ. Instead of clicking on the second insert slot here, all we have to do is go to the second insert here and add the EQ. I have this plugin and the compressor set as my defaults in the preferences menu. If you don't know how to do this, make sure you watch the adding plugins video. I think I need to add some low end to this kick. So I'm going to raise 70 Hz. Let's dial it in here by about 4 dB. I'm also going to raise the Q a little bit so it's focused in just on the frequencies in that area. There, that's good. Let's play it back. That's sounding better. Let's just use bypass to hear the difference. It's a subtle change, but it's definitely working. Okay, let's move on to the snare. Let's solo it as well. Sounds pretty consistent, so I don't think I needed a compression. So let's just do some EQ. Sometimes when I don't know exactly where I want to take away or add to something, I just boost the gain up on one of these pots all the way, and then sweep the frequency around to find a pleasing spot or a not so pleasing spot that I want to get rid of. Let's boost the gain up here and sweep around. The snare has a lot of sizzle, but not much attack. So I think boosting somewhere around here would be good. Yeah, let's just bring that down, of course. Nice. Now let's pull down the high frequency just a little bit here, maybe just by a couple of dB, just to get rid of a little bit of that sizzle. And finally, let's just drop the output a little bit because we can see that it's overloading here. Okay, let's listen to all the drums together again. Sounding pretty good. Let's just do a little mixing here. Okay, I like that. The only other thing I want to do is add a compressor to this drum submix. Let's just go with the gentle limiting preset. And let's just bring our threshold down just a little bit. Just so we're just doing a little bit of gain reduction just to even things out a little bit. I'm going to bring the knee up. There we go. That just keeps a little bit of control in case there's any part of the song that gets a little unruly. That compressor will just help give the drums overall control. Okay, let's add the bass in now. You can see I'm using Expand 2. I didn't actually record bass, so it's not the greatest bass sound in the world, but actually, when it's in with the whole song, it works pretty well. I think we're going to need some compression and EQ. Let's start with the compressor. And let's go with the bass guitar preset. I absolutely love this preset. I think it works great on most bass guitars, and I don't often change it. Okay, let's add some EQ. And I'm going to raise 150 Hz, somewhere around there, by about 4 dB or so. Before we move on to the rest of the stuff, let's add some hall reverb to our snare and probably the tom tracks too. First, we have to solo safe these tracks. What that means is if we solo something like the snare, we'll we'll still be able to hear these reverbs. We can do that by control or command clicking on the solo button. And let's do that for our drum bus track too. Okay. You can see that our hall reverb is bus 3-4, so let's go here, select bus 3-4. Now there's a couple of important buttons here. The first is this follow main panner button. Stop playback for a second here and turn it on. Now what this will do is it'll lock the panner on the send to the panner on the track, which is great because I don't want the reverb for the snare to show up over here, which, you know, sometimes can be a really cool effect. But in this instance, I'd like the reverb to match the snare, so I want the panning to follow. We also have a pre button here, which we've looked at before. What that does is, even if this fader is all the way down and we're sending something to the hall reverb, it'll still go there. If this button's turned off, it's post fader. So if we turn this volume all the way down, we'll also cut this volume to the hall reverb track. Let's bring that back up and let's start playback again. I think somewhere around there sounds good, -12. Now we can copy this over to the toms track by just holding Alt or Option, clicking and dragging. Let's just raise up to -7 or so. Yeah, perfect. I think it's sounding pretty good so far. Continue to the next chapter to finish mixing the song.